Hi guys, welcome back to CodeMasterCoach, your medical coding tutor. Guys, I'm always asked, what do I think makes my coding program, my medical coding program that prepares students for the AAPC's CPC exam so successful? And if you ask me, because in the past I have given you student testimonials, because I get a lot of student referrals. Students in my program refer their family members, their friends, or whatever. They team up and come in through the program. But if you were to ask me what makes my program successful, I think it's the one-on-one interaction between me and my students. The number one question that I always get when a student gets ready to register for one of my classes is, what day of the week and what time do the classes meet? And I say, I don't set that. The students that registered for the class set the times for us to meet as a class. The first week of class, the students are given a survey, and in the survey they're asked what day and time between Tuesday and Sunday do they want to meet as a class. And I ask for 3 times because I know I'm going to be meeting with each class at least 3 times a week, whether it's morning, evening, or weekends. And I try to set up one of those for each class, a morning class, an evening class, and a weekend class, because people work different schedules. It does me no good to set up a class. This class will meet on Mondays at 1 p.m. if my students are working and they can't attend Zoom. What good does that do? So I let my students determine when we will meet as a class on Zoom. And when we do meet, the student's only required to attend 1 Zoom a week, although I will be offering 3 to 5 different Zoom classes that covers the same information each week for each class. So I think that has been my biggest positivity of my program, because we're often taught with an online program, don't meet with the students. It's an evergreen course. Let them register, sign up, take the class. Everything they need is on the class platform. But I always say, with medical coding, you go down a rabbit hole. You'll think you're on the right path with your coding, but you'll be dead wrong. And you need that instructor interaction to make sure you're not going too far left with your coding, because it's very easy to do just that. So you need that instructor-student interaction. And I know a lot of instructors with classes don't have time to do this. And it will probably hold my program back from being even more successful as far as numbers or as far as money. But that's okay with me, because I enjoy teaching. I love teaching. I love seeing the light bulb. When I'm on Zoom, I can see students come in frustrated. They'll even tell me, Coach, I just can't get it. I can't get it. I can't get it. And before class is over, I'll say, you got it, don't you? And they'll say, I got it. That's enough for me right there. I see the learning. I see the light bulb in their eyes go off. That's enough for me. So that could be my downfall as far as the success, as far as numbers or money for my program. But that's okay. As long as my students are learning the information and it's making sense, and I can apply it in such a way that makes it make sense to them, then I feel like I've done my job. I've done what I was set out to do. So again, meeting weekly with my students. Again, I know that does not make my program an evergreen. They call it evergreen when you set up an online course and it just runs. I'm supposed to open my eyes every morning and just see the numbers. No, I live with my students. I live with them so much during a class, during the program rather, that after 8 months when they complete the program, a lot of them will say, Coach, we just need to meet on Zoom. They've met with me so much on Zoom over the 8 months period completing the program, that when they finish, they feel lost because we're not meeting like we were 3 to 4 to 5 times a week on Zoom talking over the material. And then another thing that I think helps my program is I believe that an instructor can talk over a student's head. There are times when I'm teaching theory and it's theory and it's just that. It's lesson that I'm trying to teach my students. But because it's so theory lesson that it can go over their heads, and I'm trying to present it, and I'll see some students getting it and some students not, because on Zoom I'm reading every single one of my students' faces. I'm looking to see or no, or even a chat. I'll tell them I know they're afraid to speak up sometimes because the other students are in the class, and I'll say, send me a chat. I won't call your name, but I'll answer the question. But others, I just see them shaking their head like, Coach, I'm not getting it. And so when I feel like I'm not getting through, I have what I call student-to-student interaction. And that's when I'll ask a student that I know has got it. And I'll say, student to student. And they know that means I need them to explain it to the other student in their lingo. Sometimes it takes a student to explain a concept. And I know that. I know it. Sometimes I can get it over to some students and can't get it over to all. But sometimes it takes a student to interpret what the instructor just said to another student, and the other student will get it. But I need to make sure all of my students grasp the concept before I move on. So if it takes a student-to-student interaction in addition to me teaching it, I'm all for it. My students will tell you when I say student-to-student, that means I need a student to speak up and help me get this concept over. So that's another biggie for me, for my program, that I like to do. I just love to see the light bulb. You'll see the difference in the student's face when they grasp the concept. Can you tell I love to teach? And then we have what the students called, and I just learned it, coachisms. What we found with medical coding is the code book just doesn't talk the way that I talk, the way that I want to look things up. If I've got a diagnosis I want to look up, breast mass, I'll go to breast, and it'll say C condition. I'm thinking, why couldn't it be in the code book the way that I want to look it up? It's not there. And then I have to follow the rules of the code book. And so it gets kind of weird sometimes, but my students will say, coachisms, add your coachism to it, coach, when I'm trying to teach something. And so, like, for example, we hear about signs and symptoms, S&S, or CCs, complications and comorbidities. And so the students, like when I say, they'll say coachisms, like for signs and symptoms, I'll say, like the patient might go into the doctor and he'll say, Doc, my head's been hurting. I got a little bit of spinning, a little dizziness. I don't have much of an appetite. Now notice the patient is giving their symptoms to the doctor. Doc, this is what's going on with me. And as the doctor is listening to the patient, they're ding, 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 ding. They're signs to the physician. Symptoms to the patient are signs to the physician. And so when I try to break it down like that, or let me give you another one, add-on codes in CPT. Add-on codes have the plus sign in front of them. That means they can only be add-on codes, add on to another code. And so I always call it a mother-child code. The child needs the mother. A child code can't stand alone. So I'll say it's a mother-child, or it's a child code. That means it needs its mother in order for it to be a complete code. They call them parent-child codes, mama-child codes. I always put my little coachism on it to make sure I can explain it to my student that with the plus sign in front of it, it's an add-on code. It cannot stand alone. So little things like that I try to bring into the classes to try to make some of these concepts with coding a little easier to understand. And so I think my little coachisms help my program to succeed. But ultimately, I have to also give credit to my faculty. I have two other ladies that have stepped in to help me with my program. Eva Marie Swank, she's a graduate of my program. She was valedictorian of her class. And I could be listening on her Zoom. She doesn't even know I might be listening one day. I can remember sitting in listening, and a student asked a question, and I answered it. And I'll be darned, she didn't hear me answer because I was muted. I was just listening. She answered the student in the exact way I would have answered. when I hear her teach, she teaches very much like I do. You could tell she spent a lot of time with me in my program. But she is a very good student, passed her CPC on the first attempt. As I said, she was valedictorian of her class, and she has been with me and has been teaching for me since she graduated. I have another faculty, Shaka Khan Bellamy Moore. She's a graduate of my program, passed her CPC exam on the first try as well, and is teaching medical billing and reimbursement. I was proud of my medical billing and reimbursement course because I built it from the ground up. And it is a thorough medical billing and reimbursement class. But Shaka, right out of the program, got her a billing job, full-time billing, and has really taken that class and made it even stronger. I mean, has really brought in her expertise from her job to the class and has really boomed that class. I mean, we have fun in that. I go to that class Zoom meetings just to participate in the activities, and I can honestly say students can take that class and get a billing job and do well just from that class alone, because that's just how thorough that class is. It is a very strong class. So yes, you can take that class and get a billing job. But and Shaka's bring even more to the class. So again, those are the things, the Zoom, the interaction with the students, the coachisms, the faculty members. I think that's what makes CodeMasterCoach such a successful program. And even hearing from other graduates from other programs that are now coming into my program, I really think that we have found the foundation to build strong coders. And so I'm excited. I know it's not an evergreen. It's not going to run on its own. It's going to take the time, and it might, it's going to reduce my money. It's going to reduce my income. But you can tell that's not, I'm here because I love coding. I love to teach coding. And that's what we do in CodeMasterCoachs medical coding program. So again, if you're interested in a strong, and I'm saying strong, our success rate on the CPC exam speaks for itself. We have a very high success rate. Our students pass it on the first attempt. If you're interested in a strong medical coding program, email me at codemastercoach@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to send you some information. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.